Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining PwC's Managed Services in Action series, a series of conversations with colleagues here from PwC to talk about how we're using our managed service capabilities to help our clients solve their challenges every day. I'm Tim Canonico, a partner here, and I'm joined by my partner, Nate Lebowitz. Nate's a partner in our global transparency practice and really leads our global transparency practice and operations day in and day out. Thanks for being here, Nate.
Thanks, Tim. It's great to be here with you today.
So global spend transparency, a topic near and dear to both of our hearts. Maybe spend a few minutes today here just talking about what are some of the biggest pain points that we're seeing in the market today.
It's really four consistent messages that we hear. The first, requirements. Clients have trouble keeping up to date with this ever-evolving landscape of global transparency requirements. Second, resources. It's really hard to find, hire, train, retain resources with the appropriate skill set, especially in this market. The third, tech. Technology on the market does not fit clients' needs, and building a homegrown solution is too expensive, difficult to scale, and limits a company's ability to stay current on advances in technology. And four is cost. There's a renewed focus on controlling and even reducing the cost of transparency programs.
So sounds like quite the exam question, right? There's more and more requirements coming out, hard to find talent, hard to tech enable the right way. Cost is key. Everyone wants to lower the cost of compliance. Why don't you share with our audience a little bit about how we're helping our companies address those series of challenges you just rattled off?
Yeah, so how we've been addressing this is through our transparency managed service offering. We bring our clients the right mix of people, flexible tech, and repeatable processes. And we've actually been providing clients with this global transparency managed service for years. Historically, this was an area that leadership preferred to maintain internally. But we've recently seen a big shift in the mindset of PLS leaders, deciding that this is not a core activity and is something that they're leaning on managed service providers to help with. This is an area where certain activities can be strategically outsourced. And what this does is it frees up time for compliance professionals on their team to take responsibility for activities that have higher value to the business. And it also allows companies to move away from in-house tech and boutique providers, as our clients tell us they're frustrated with boutique providers that come and go. So we bring this all together with our global team and technology providing a managed service to our clients.
Right, and maybe let's double click on that for a second. So you talked about a series of activities that are ripe for co-sourcing to be taken on by a vendor that can really help do that at scale efficiently and effectively. Maybe just walk through how that works. High level, what does that mean? What are these activities? That would be helpful.
Absolutely. So step one, we capture your data as is. Good news here, you don't need to do anything to your source systems. Step two, we use our automated and AI-enabled tool set to review the data, correct errors automatically, and then flag transactions for review that we can't fix automatically. Then step three, our team of specialists takes these transactions that were flagged, reviews them, fixes with them, and then partners with the client if needed to escalate. Then step four, we validate and generate reports. And then step five, we support our clients with the review, approval, and submission process. So the benefit here is we take the heavy lift off of our clients, and we also drive greater efficiency and scalability because this is what our team does every day.
So that sounds great. We talked about how we can take on a lot of that heavy lift from our clients, really drive efficiency in their programs and operate key aspects for them. You touched on some of the benefits a little bit. Can you double down on what we're seeing in terms of the benefits being from these models?
Yeah. So what's great about this is the benefits directly address the issues that we talked about earlier, what we're hearing from industry. So first, requirements. You now have a provider to monitor the regulatory landscape for you. Two, resources. You don't have to find, hire, retain large teams of resources that are really hard to find. Three, tech. You get a tech partner that's constantly innovating, keeping you up to date in advancements in tech. You don't need to worry about boutique vendors coming and going. Four, costs. You can control your costs with one fee paid to one partner. And we typically see a significant positive return on investment from adopting this approach. Beyond those, as I said already, we take the heavy lift off your hands in a model that's truly scalable, frees up your team to focus on higher value activities and business partnership, especially during the busy season. This gives you a program built to grow with your business.
It makes sense, right? And maybe I'll ask you a question here. If you take out your crystal ball and look deeply into it and think about the transparency program of the future, where we've seen this evolve to date, what's next? Where do we see the program of the future? What does that look like?
So clearly depends on the size of the program. But for example, a mid-sized company, this now might look like you just have your compliance director, a transparency manager, and then PwC's managed service team delivering this program. Then if we look at a large global multinational company, then maybe we have a transparency director, regional transparency managers and leads, but then we have our PwC managed service team filling in the rest.
So, key theme here being the days of having to hire and retain large groups of people to do this, spend tons of money on custom tech or boutique tech to help make this work, all of that cost and time spent. Really, as I listen to both of those models, it's a lean team that's bolstered by our capabilities and technology to help do we keep saying the heavy lift. That's the word of the day here in this interview. And maybe just, can you comment a little bit for leaders that are watching this thinking, sounds great, where do I get started? How does this work? Could you give a few thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. And it does seem like a lot. It's a big change, but start investigating this option now. Get an overview of exactly how it would work for your company from a people, process, and tech perspective. See if this is something that would fit with your business. And seriously, get started now so that you can reap the benefits of this model that's already out in market.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. And maybe let me just take a step back to recap this conversation. So we talked about how transparency requirements continue to expand. We talk about how programs in the past were heavily reliant on large teams, custom tech to make that happen. And then really how managed services fundamentally changes that. Smaller teams, co-source providers taking on the heavy lift, using technology to drive efficiency and automation in the program. And that results at lower cost and compliant outcomes. Did I get that right?
That's exactly right.
All right. Well, thanks again, Nate, for taking the time today. And on behalf of PwC, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of Managed Services in Action. I'm Tim Canonico. Thanks.